Okay, I think we're ready to get started. If everybody would like to grab a seat. For the last session of the day. I'm so glad to see such a terrific turnout at 3:30. In preparation for the awards that come afterwards. So, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I am absolutely thrilled to be able to host this panel discussion. My name is Kim Hewitt, and I'm with IBM. And I wanted to introduce my panel members, and then I'll tell you why this particular group of people were chosen to sit on this panel for me. So, first of all, let me start with Stephanie Dougherty, who is in the middle. She is the Chief of Enterprise Planning and Performance for the Department of Motor Vehicles. Carolyn Hogg, who is the Chief Information Officer for the City of Fresno, and Paul Ogden, who is the Director of Business and Human Resources Bureau at the Franchise Tax Board. And the genesis of this particular session was really, I was very inspired as part of the advisory board for this overall meeting, because I heard so many great stories about things that had happened with respect to customer service that had their seeds planted by employees in an organization or by a customer who had provided some feedback. And I think that through the sessions this morning, I think it became very clear, and I was very excited to hear that really it's very often the people who are closest to the problem who have the best ideas about how to solve it. And so I wanted to feature that as part of the discussion. And I also thought it was important to have a spectrum of experiences. So we have here the city of Fresno, who is what I would view as really where the rubber meets the road in terms of citizen engagement on the front lines of providing citizen service, to the Franchise Tax Board, who has interaction with both citizens and businesses on a pattern that is semi-regular. And then you have the Department of Motor Vehicles, who has interaction with both businesses and citizens on both predictable as well as unpredictable and event-driven occurrences. So their cycles are different, their interaction levels are different, and having prepared with this group of three now, I know you're going to be really excited to hear about their experiences and how they approach empowering employees to improve customer service and what they do to solicit feedback from customers and from their employees in improving the overall strategy. So I thought we would start by understanding a little bit of how customer service as a topic fits into the overall business strategy of the organization, how they define customers, a little bit about how they educate their employees about what's important and how they can contribute. So Carolyn, do you want to start off?
Sure. Thank you for being here also this late in the afternoon. I'm going to talk a little bit about customers. If you've been on the customer service track like I have been all day, we pretty much know now what customer means. But from a city's perspective, we have different types of customers. Our main customer are our residents. And, you know, we as a city support our residents' daily life needs. So water, trash, sewer, street maintenance, lights go out, all those types of life services we support for our customers. We also have industry customers, so our builders, which help drive our economic recovery, is one of our vital customers. I find it's very successful for a city to really understand the culture of a city. We've heard a lot about it's a cultural change for government transformation. By understanding the city's culture, I think you can actually better support your customers' needs. So Los Angeles' city culture and San Francisco's culture within their city are very different, as is Fresno's culture, because we are agriculture centric. So by understanding that, we have a different type of customer. So it's very diverse. We have a lot of agricultural clients, farmers, and industry. That makes up our customer base. Within the city, we also have 17 different types of different departments. And so I really try to understand the culture of finance is totally different from the culture of fire and PD. And by understanding the ways that they operate allows me to better service and support my internal customers. And I think there's a lot of HR people and interests out here. I think you can relate to that because when you go recruit for an accountant, it's totally different from putting out fires in the fire department. So,
Thanks. Stephanie?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Kim asked the question, what is your department or your organization's customer base? And I think for the Department of Motor Vehicles, we can simplify it by saying our customer base is pretty much every citizen or resident in the state of California. In our database, we have 33 million registered vehicles. We're responsible for about 25 million licensed drivers. And over the course of the year, we complete about 80 million transactions between our different service channels. And I think, at the heart of it, some of our core products, a vehicle registration, a driver's license, those are things that have been around for multiple generations. What we're seeing in our customer base is really understanding how those customer needs and preferences have changed over the years. And one of the focus areas that we have right now as a department is really understanding that increasingly mobile customer who wants to do business with DMV in a time and manner that is convenient to them. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and I can tell you that she knows how to use an iPad better than I do. She is a digital native who, when she comes in to get her driver's license when she is 16, she is going to want to do it in as virtual of a manner as possible. My guess is she's going to want to avoid a field office in any possible way that she can. And we've embedded that understanding of our customers' needs, our customers' preferences, and having a convenient and mobile service in the elements of our strategic plan. At the heart of our organization, we have a core value of commitment to serve the public. We have a mission that is all about delivering quality licensing and vehicle-related services to the public. And we have a service strategy that is focused on those elements of a convenient, innovative, and virtual service experience. And that is at our heart where we really understand our customers to be, that they want to have their interaction with the department to be as quick, seamless, and easy as possible.
Paul?
I'll defer.
He's been the most difficult one for this entire thing.
Really, get a little audience participation here. I'm
Go
going to
right
say, how
ahead.
many of you can finish this? There's pretty much 2 things in this life we can't avoid, right? Death and
taxes.
So I recognize that I'm in a business that's number 2 on possibly the worst list ever created. And we're catching death, by the way. We're almost up there. At the same time, customer service is something we take very important. We don't just say, hey, you're the only game in town, you have to pay us, and so we don't care how we treat you. It's something that we take it to heart. Customers, and our customers consist of individual taxpayers, business taxpayers, taxpayer payers, our 3-member board, legislature, lawmakers, GovOps agency, our employees, and pretty much anyone we come in contact with through the day. As far as how this factors into our, it's interesting because when Kim sent us the question, she said, how do we inculcate this into our employee? Where I'm like, after I Googled it, which you're doing right now, instill, or how do we instill this in our employees and in our customers? And really there's several different ways. We have just in our, like was just said, we have in our core mission and values, it's riddled with customer service type things. Riddled's probably not the right word. It includes many customer service focus. And it talks about employees as being our most important asset. We throw that out there all the time. And it's something we really believe in. Our strategic plan, one of the 4 primary goals we have in our strategic plan, our latest one, is specifically about being a taxpayer-centric organization. And then we have specific goals under that, or strategies, that we are following over a few-year period to make sure we get there. We have a couple other things. Our most recent plan calls out that, and I want to say I was involved in every session, every meeting that we had when we were developing that plan. It was a long process. But what I want to point out is our executive management team wasn't about, oh, let's throw that in there, let's throw them a bone and act them like we care about it. They were passionate about making sure we recognized the customer at all levels, employees/customers, as that was developed. We also have developed goals, metrics, dashboards, you could say, to kind of give us an idea of where we are in meeting our goals as far as customer service go. And we have programs. This is how we inculcate. Is that I'm saying the word right? Because I love it.
Very good, yeah.
I say it at dinner. Like how they inculcate. Anyway.
I'm never going to live that down.
So we have programs out there that help drive this? We pretty much developing a culture is one where customer service is valued and rewarded. And so we do have programs out there where we acknowledge staff, whether they're in individual business areas or on a larger scale. We have kudos programs, we call them, where we specifically call out, you did this. We have on our internal webpage where we post anytime a customer, an external customer, has given a kudo to one of our employees, that's posted so everyone can see this person is acknowledged. There are both monetary and non-monetary programs that go on. One thing that's probably unique about our department, we have one of our governance bodies, a Customer Service Action Committee, that's specifically focused on our customer service goals, focuses, and things like that. So I'm probably taking more than my time, so I'll stop.
Who's a part of the Customer Service Action Council?
Who's a part of it? They're usually there's representatives from the executive management team, and we have every business area within Franchise Tax Board is represented on that team at a pretty high level. We might even have a few people from that here today. Is anyone currently in the role? I know Michelle, there we go. We have 3 of those folks. They're right now, I was gonna say at one point, even though I was the one selected for this, any number of people could have given this presentation, and if at any point someone wants to tap out, I'll defer.
Great, thank you. I just want you to know I'd read a book that used that word, and I had to Google it too, but I liked it, and so I'm using it myself.
Then the host got done.
Exactly. One thing I wanted to follow up with you, Stephanie, is you talked in some of our previous conversations about the balance between service and customer service. I wonder if you could just elaborate on that a little bit.
The balance between service and customer
keeping the
service.
lights on and really focusing on customer service.
I think we were talking about it in context of, as an organization, there's that certain amount of maintenance and operations activity that needs to happen so your core programs and operations can keep functioning at their current level. And then there's those strategic investments, those strategic enhancements that you want to make, and how sometimes it's a very small pie of resources that are available to do the mandates, the maintenance and operations, and then the fun, exciting strategic work. And so within our department, there's always that balance of how do you make sure you keep the lights on, but at the same time make sure you're reserving resources and organizational attention to those strategic items that help move you forward towards your strategic direction.
And Carolyn, can you just comment quickly on, at the city level, there are so many competing interests. So how do you, as an organization, kind of prioritize your customer service initiatives?
Well, in October, we recently created what we call a FIT committee, which is Fresno Innovative IT or Information Technology Advisory Committee. And it's made up of all 17 different departments. So there's a representative from every department. And we get together and we have performed a needs assessment, found that we have over 120 different Priority 1 projects that are coming up in this budget year. So we are creating, through this committee, establishing some governance policies. So the first governance policy we created was a prioritization policy, and we created different criteria that we as a group in collaboration can vote that, yes, these projects that are coming up meet the most critical elements of the priorities that the city's facing. So if it dealt with a public safety issue, if it dealt with a regulatory requirement issue, if it dealt with mitigating risk to our residents, those are all higher priorities versus nice to haves. And so that's how we collectively come together and agree on the priorities of technology projects.
Okay, great, thank you. And then, Paul, let me just go back to you real quickly. You talked about these customer service dashboards, which I think is a really interesting way of keeping in the forefront kind of where you are against your metrics. How are those, who has access to those, who inputs to them?
I'll defer. See, I'm looking at Michelle Fallon right there in the front row, who knows everything about our dashboard. She was created it. So
right now, our dashboards are available only to the Customer Service Action Committee.
And can we hear her? Will she be heard?
With that information, can you hear me? And we look at that information probably every month at least And we decided that there needs to be things that are looked at. So everything is like we look at the self-service stuff. We look at
Backlogs, correspondence, phone calls, volumes.
Level of access. We look at correspondence backlogs, and all of that is tied to a traffic light. If it's red or yellow or it's green. So if it's yellow or red, then we talk about why, right, Karen? Correct.
I'm getting the whole team involved. How about you? What do you got in the back? So thank you, Michelle. Can I say one thing about the balance? Because
Yes.
we talked about the balance has to happen. We sometimes our customer service focus and desire can be in direct conflict, it might seem, with our core mission of collecting revenue. And so there is that, I call it a delicate dance that we often do when we're in the room, how can we lean this way without hurting the other side? So it's pretty hard.
Do you find that employees are challenged with that balance?
I'd say not really. I mean, I think it's spelled out pretty easily. Here's what you do, here's what we care about. And it's so embedded in us as a structure, as a culture, that they know we do this not at the expense of that. So, as a general rule.
Excellent. Okay. So let's turn the focus now to external customers. We thought we'd talk a little bit about external customers and then turn the lens inward and look at internal customers. So can you talk about your approach to the external customer, Carolyn, and give us some examples of things that you found to be very successful?
Well, we're hoping that it's going to be successful. We're getting ready to launch a customer relationship management CRM product, specifically for our residents to get them empowered and involved in their city that they live in. And we're taking it a step further because there are a lot of CRMs out there right now where you can report a fallen tree or street repairs or a street light that's out. Today, people want more than that. They don't want to just report it. They want interaction. So they want to know, it's kind of like if you can even track your pizza through Domino's, see what stage it's at. You order it, it's in the oven, it's getting ready to be delivered. That's the type of interaction that our residents are wanting. So in a couple months, we're going to launch it, but the power of that is it's also going to empower our employees because we have feet on the ground every single day. We have people with garbage collections and police and bus drivers, and so they live in our city, and so we're envisioning them also using the CRM to feed back the data so that we can make improvement and see where our areas are in need of to better provide customer service as a city.
Stephanie.
I talked a little bit earlier about one of our goals around virtualizing service delivery and access to DMV services, and that's been a focus of ours since the early 2000s. I don't know if many people knew that back in 2000 you could renew your vehicle registration online, and since then we have really continued to grow those online service capabilities, and we've expanded them in recent years. We have a DMV Now mobile application. We're increasingly making our website mobile ready. Our driver's handbook is actually available in the iBook store as a interactive handbook that you can download and use on your iPad. So it has videos and interactive quizzes. You can bookmark pages. We also recently offered you the option to be able to sign up for email renewals of your vehicle registration reminders, of your vehicle renewal needs. So it seems like most of us fall into two camps, right? One is we get that renewal notice and we pay it right away because we don't want to forget. The other camp, we look out on that last day and we go, oh shoot, my tags are about to expire. So we recognize that customers need that periodic email to say, reminder, your registration's coming up, would you like to pay it? And so those are some of the things we're doing to really make people able to do their DMV service virtually. I like to talk about being at home on a Sunday in your bunny slippers and you're able to renew your driver's license, renew your tags, and then also let us know that you've moved and file a change of address with us, all without having to come in to a traditional brick and mortar field office. We've also really expanded our use of social media, so we've had a very heavy presence on YouTube. We have over 200 videos out there. They tend to be very interactive, educational, little clips, for example, the top 10 reasons why people fail their drive tests. And since that has been up, we've had over 36 million lifetime views of the videos that are out on our YouTube channel.
Wow.
We also have a very active presence on Twitter and Facebook. I was looking at some tweets last night. It is incredible to me what people will tweet out. So in the course of yesterday, we had a customer who tweeted out that he had renewed his registration 2 weeks ago, still hadn't gotten it. Another man who renewed his driver's license and realized after the fact that he hadn't changed his address, so he wanted to know what would happen. And then another customer who didn't have a positive service experience and just wanted to let the Twitterverse know that he had not had a quality DMV service experience. And in each instance, we were able to ask that customer to direct message us. And we said, hey, direct message us, we'll work out your tag issue. We'll get you in touch with the right team to help you address that change of address issue. And the customer wasn't satisfied, we want to know more about your service experience. And so we've really found that social media is a fabulous tool, not only for pushing out DMV-related educational and information, but also to engage the customer in a way that is convenient to them, from their handheld device. And then we've also really been working on enhancing our field office services. So we've embedded a self-service element in our field offices. I don't know how many of you have gone out and used a self-service terminal. They're available in 50 field offices. You can go, pay with cash, credit card, check, get your tags immediately, all without having to speak to a technician, all without having to wait in line at the field office. We also recently rolled out a touchscreen testing system. How many of us remember going and covering our paper and taking our driver test? Now it's all on a touch screen. It's a randomized test question, so everyone gets a unique driver's exam. You get immediate feedback where you know if you passed your test, yay, or if you failed your test, you can go study and come back and take it again. And those are some of the big ticket items that we're doing. A lot of them are embedded from employees having a good suggestion. So we have someone in our department who just loves to, out of personal interest, work on mobile apps, and he was the one who said, hey, we should put our driver's handbook in the iBook store. We should make it available as an iPad version. We have an employee suggestion program where we get a lot of those more organic, smaller suggestions. So for example, a call center agent who noticed that he had been receiving a lot of customer calls about what are your DMV field office hours. He suggested, why don't you put that in that pre-recorded prompt, and then that will help to minimize the number of customers who wait on the line just to ask an employee that simple of a question. So we have those big ticket items, and then we have those small process improvements, the form changes, the process changes that really come organically from our employees.
Excellent, thank you. Paul?
I'd say we are an organization that does like to reach out and see what our customers are interested in, whether it's in focus groups, surveys, interested party meetings. What else did I have? We also, you mentioned the social media. We also have a presence out there. We have YouTube videos for education, and we also monitor. We have pages out there. We also monitor what is being said out there, and it's interesting. Not as bad as you might think, but once in a while we get one of those comments too. But it's interesting to listen to it, right? As we're making our decisions to know what the world thinks. We also recently put out a customer service survey. We're still now gathering the results, but it's to people who had actually spoken to one of our call center agents, what their experience was like. And so right now I think they're still looking at how the results are coming in. But I'd say the people who got in had a really good experience. And so we're excited about that. People are getting through. One of the things is getting through, right? Because there's a lot more callers than we have people available. But that's something we're working on. We have some examples of external things that we've done. I mean, all of you, more audience participation. I'm assuming if you're all taxpayers, right? Right? Right. Anyway. And let's say you just filed your tax return lately and you had a refund coming. What do you want to know?
When are you going to get it?
When am I going to get it? And you want to know it now, right? So for years we've had ways you call in and find out where your refund status is. But just one of the things that was really big that we put out there, you can go online and figure out what your refund status is. And it'll be better and better as time goes on, but right now you can find that out. You can also set up, let's say you're one of those people who don't have a refund coming, you have a balance due. You can also online set up an installment payment agreement. We have something called My FTB account that you can sign up for, log into, that gives you your account information. And in the future, it's going to be enhanced. It's going to be even more information available for you and for your tax preparer. And tax preparers will be able to get actually a list of all of their clients in one little, it's really, we're doing a lot to make it even better, which is one of the points I want to make sure I make, is as you do implement stuff, you can do it incrementally. You don't have to wait till you have this big system, a big package to put stuff out there. If you can find a way that they can get this one piece of information, I say do it. And we also have something, well, live chat, where someone could actually be on, whenever you're on a website once in a while and says, you want to talk to somebody? Yes, I'm sad. I want to. So we have that. Right now it's limited to more specific, more general. General information. We can't be really account specific in some of the things we do with some of these processes, but the improvement will then be, that's coming up, we'll be able to actually talk about, come through a certain gateway so that you're safe and you can share actually your specific information. We have virtual hold, which is, as I talked to the management teams of call centers, they said if you could do one thing, if you have a call center with a long wait time, virtual hold, and that's where you're on, they say, hey, we're busy, this is your wait, but if you want, give us your number and we'll call you back. And that way you don't have to sit there, in Walgreens while you're with your phone there. And that's been just a huge success for us, and we've gotten a lot of great feedback from our customers. We have something that recently we put out there called Ask a Legal Expert, where it's a link on our webpage where you can go out there and you have this legal question. You just send it right there, go straight to our legal division. And if there's something they have to farm out to one of their business areas, they do. But that's been a very successful thing for us. And let's see, and I talked about the future stuff with something we call a taxpayer folder, which is ways to your or your preparer's way to go in and pretty much like you would with, say, a lot of your other accounts, credit card accounts, where you pretty much have everything there, copies of notices we've sent to you, everything right there at your fingertips. So that's our external stuff in a nutshell. I know people out there want to raise their hand. What about this, Paul? Tell me later what I forgot.
We'll get a chance. We'll get a chance. So each of you have talked a little bit about outreach and getting people's feedback, and certainly social media is a part of what each of you do. But I wonder if you could comment about the expectations that then sets on the population, that if they can reach out to you, that there is an expectation that something is coming back, and what some of the challenges might be in terms of how you be sure you're responsive, and then anything that you need to do in order to prepare your employees to be a part of that exchange from a social media standpoint.
Yeah, we have a pretty small team in terms of it's a handful of employees who are really responsible for the social media program. So in that regards, it's pretty easy to have some consistency and process and procedures that are adhered to, because you do have a small organization. And we do have that expectation, like if you go to our Twitter main page, it does say words to the effect of, this account is monitored Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So if somebody tweets something at 2 a.m. on a Sunday, they don't have an expectation of a response within the next few hours. They understand that it is something that's more actively monitored during business hours.
Do you want me to go first? Stalling. I'd say whether it's specific to our social media or anytime you ask someone, I'm going to make it more broad, you have to be prepared to take some action. And so as we go out there and we survey people and we get more direct line to us, we're aware that now that does cause a higher accountability. We do have to respond. So again, whether it's refund stuff, if we start telling people how, you can find out how soon your refund's going to get here, well, we focus on getting it out there quickly. Our answer doesn't want to be in 6 to 8 months, you should be getting a check. So it's just that accountability. That's whether it's external or internal. We talked about our employees being one of our customers. When we out regularly try to survey them and see how they're doing, how they're feeling about this and this and this, and when we do that, the focus is get back to them as soon as, give them some wins, give them some stuff so they know they're heard and that we're not just asking to be asking. So again, that's more general, but that's my opinion.
Well, and because we haven't launched our CRM product yet, it's a little tricky, but what I do envision is it could be a challenge when we start getting our residents to engage in their city and bring certain things to our attention. We're going to have to be able to have appropriate resources to address it, or else it's going to, the whole system's going to bomb. But what I envision is once we start getting that interaction, I can then take that data that we're going to collect and say, this is very important to the residents in this district. take it to the FIT committee and see where it falls on the prioritization of projects that we're trying to implement. So.
Yeah, I think the whole expectation of the population is something that we're all going to be wrestling with, I think. So let's turn a little bit now to the internal customers. You know, certainly customer service is also as valuable within internal functions as it is to the external world. Can you talk a little bit about how ideas come from employees, the things you do specifically related to your employees, and how you actually filter those and use those in the organization?
Me first?
Yep.
Okay. Well, what our plans are is to take the same model that we're going to build for our civic engagement with our residents and apply it internally, starting with my department in technology, because like I said, we support 17 different departments. And we want to have that type of interaction. You know, we do the traditional customer survey. Was your help desk call fixed in a timely manner? Was the technician professional? We want more information coming into the department so we can better support our customers' needs. So that's what our plan is with our internal customers. And then, I didn't mention this before, but we are going to take that data both for our external customers and our internal customers and start creating some patternization. So just like I go to the grocery store and they know I buy a lot of dog food and then I get a coupon spit out while I'm at the cash register, we want to start patternizing the interaction that we're having both with our residents and our internal customers so we can proactively provide better support and really get to know who and what our customers' interests and concerns are. So. Very
cool.
Yeah, I think the concept of organizations understanding that there are internal customers that need to be served is a really exciting one in the sense that for a long time our strategic plan was very heavily focused on the external customer service. You know, we have folks who show up at a field office, they are waiting for a period of time. Folks who are calling a call center, they're on hold for a period of time, and a lot of focus on how can we enhance the quality of the service that those external customers are receiving. And a few years ago, we added to our service goal the concepts of internal customers. So previously it was enhanced service to external customers, and we added internal customers because we wanted to clearly communicate throughout the organization that it's not just the service you provide to the public, it's also the service that you, as someone who processes a contract, provide to another DMV employee. It's the HR employee who's processing a personnel paperwork. It's the ISD help desk who's coming to make sure that my PC is back up and running. And we have some great examples, I think, of where people have very naturally thought about how can I break down some of those organizational divisions and start to better interact with other functions in the department for the purposes of improving that internal customer service and ultimately that external customer service. So one example would be we have folks who call our call centers, so they get information from an employee over the phone, and then we have customers who come into a field office. And as you would imagine, sometimes the information that's given over the phone isn't entirely consistent with the information that's given when the customer comes into the field office. And that, you know, can lead to a certain amount of challenges between the field office who's saying, what are those call center folks saying? And the call center employees who say, well, what do those field office folks do when a customer comes in? So we've organized or implemented a reality check program where call center employees go out to field offices. They're able to learn how the field offices actually process transactions. They're able to observe field operations. So when they're on the phone with a customer, they're better able to describe what that field office experience will be like. They're better able to describe what documents the customer needs to bring in. And we also instituted the same process where field employees come into a call center and they're able to observe the realities of how that's an equally challenging service environment to be handling calls and to be dealing with customers over the phone. It's incredible what people will say to you over the phone that they would not say to you in person. And so I mean, we've probably all handled that disgruntled customer. And so for our field employees, it's been really helpful for them to understand, well, what does the call center operation look like? What type of information is available to our call center employees? And what is the information and instruction that they're giving to customers? So that's definitely helped to break down some of those silos and help build some continuity between our service channels. Another example I would give is we implemented a document imaging system about 7 years ago. It was initially for the purpose of scanning driver's license applications and paperwork that came up from field offices. That area was very proactive in saying, hey, I think other areas of the department could take advantage of this imaging solution. And they went out and approached our HR department. They approached our policy areas and said, would you be interested in us scanning your documents? And so all those areas now have that benefit of files that are easily retrievable through an online image viewing software. They have those space savings. They've gotten rid of hundreds and hundreds of cabinets, and they've reduced that frustration of trying to pick through file folders to find that bill analysis from 2000. So I think we've done a really good job of promoting that idea of how can I help make my DMV colleagues' life better and position them to be even more effective in their day-to-day jobs.
Very cool. Paul?
I'd say, excuse me, similar to how we get input from external customers, probably the same kind of stuff can be used, surveys and things like that. But I'd say probably the biggest thing that's been most value is just using these things and listen, because what isn't said sometimes is good, but really sitting down in a room and saying what are your pain points has been helpful. I have a few examples. I won't try to duplicate some things that already been said, but I'll try to say maybe what's unique. All these ideas have come from just us internally saying, this frustrates the heck out of me when this happens. How can we change it? Some of them, for example, you're on vacation, you come in, you try to log on your computer, and you forgot your password. So you type in every girlfriend's name you ever had, or whatever, your birth dates, and nothing. Then you have to wait on the phone. That's how it used to be. Well, they have a password. They developed a password reset tool. So you can just go in, you already set up your questions, boom, you're in and of course it's more efficient for them. So our IT service desk has had a lot of good things like that. We have we have some new systems we developed in-house. Now these are a little bigger efforts, but we have something called EHR, which pretty much is our precision tracking database. For HR folks out there, you might know what a pain that is, but it has pretty good historical information. It's a lot better way of keeping track of it. As a better thing for our customers on that, recently we made some changes to our personal action process, just to try to get ourselves in line. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why we did it, but it caused some angst, it caused some delays, it caused customers to come to us and say, we don't know where our thing is in the process. So we developed a very simple tracking database. So they can take the number, put it in there, and they know who's it assigned to, where it is in the process. So it's very simple. That saved me a lot of backroom beatings, I'll say. We have a new system called Learn, which is initially was just going to replace our training management stuff, our training, how we sign up for training, etc. But it has so much more capabilities. We're going to use it in many of our, I'll say, HR-related things, employee development, training, things like that. We're able to use this to track and see how we're doing. So it's just a way to use a tool, even beyond what we originally expected to use it for. We have something where employees can ask management a question. They can just click on a link and say, I have a question about this, whatever it might be. And we've had some strange ones, right? But a lot of them have very good questions, and you look at it and say, that's something we hadn't really thought about. And so that's another way for them to come forward directly to the key areas. We can, simple things like registering a visitor online. I see there's time up there. I can't see if it's 5 or
5, yep.
or 30 seconds. Music started playing. Okay. Register a visitor online. We have an emergency notification service people can sign up for. So if there's something in the building that happens. I was in a meeting yesterday where everyone starts pulling out there was an evacuation in one part of the building, and we all knew about it. So you can be notified as an employee. Wow. And then we have tools like Good for Government and Go Sticks, which are things where make people able to access their stuff, their at least email, right, remotely, a lot more easily. Those are some of our quickies. I don't want to.
Excellent. So I wanted to turn it around and allow you guys to ask questions. There's a lot of experience up here amongst this panel. So do we have any questions? Yes.
Did you find you had to increase your staff to answer all the Twitter feeds and Facebook pages, or you just reallocate their existing staff?
The volumes where they've been able to, it's kind of a combined effort between our communication programs division and then our Office of Public Affairs also has a role in approving our outgoing tweets and Facebook posts. They've been able to absorb it as part of their kind of outreach and just communications function. So we haven't had to redirect any dedicated resources to that function.
With I know this isn't Twitter, but the a live chat function we implemented. That's something where you can have one person actually handling more than one at a time. So they can, I think, up to 4 going on. Now, I can't do that personally. I'm saying the wrong thing. But so it's actually more efficient being able to use your resources that way.
Good question. Anybody else?
Well, can I just personally thank DMV for, I'm just like so thrilled because my son is about ready to take the driver's training stuff, and so I was jotting down all the improvements made. So well done, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we have a lot of hardworking employees who are very committed to delivering quality customer service, and hopefully we like to say the late night comedians have had their fun with DMV, but that hopefully our reputation has improved over the years, and I think that is through really a concerted effort on how can we make customers successful when they come in to do business with us.
If I could share, you didn't ask me, but I'm going to share one thing. As far as future, the thing is, okay, if you could work on things, what should you work on? And I think this goes I won't go into detail of where I got this information, but it's from a nationally recognized organization who's doing benchmarking for different state government agencies and different countries. They say the things that give you the most bang for the buck with customers, they're looking for speed. I know it makes sense, right? They want things faster. They don't want face-to-face. They want self-serve automated options that are better. So if you're going to focus somewhere, get faster and have them do it by themselves. No charge for that one.
Oh, well, thank you. We have any other questions? Because then you've already answered your last question,
Sorry.
Paul. That's okay. But I wanted to go back to one of the keynote speakers who used a quote from Wayne Gretzky this morning about where the puck is going. So when you look at customer service, what do you see in terms of the next level of expectation from your customers?
Well, Fresno is also the butt of many late-night comedian jokes, so we do want to be a more sophisticated city, and so one of my takeaways was that dynamic bus route concept at the keynote.
Yeah,
the city is getting ready to implement, it's a bus rapid transit corridor for better transportation, and I can definitely see our customer patternization fitting right into this concept of dynamic bus routes. So that's what I see in the very near horizon.
I kind of echo what Paul said. I just feel like customers, and hopefully we will continue to move in that direction of even more convenient and virtualized service. So, hopefully a future where, while no one wants to get pulled over, for example, by CHP, a future where you can hold up your smartphone and say, yep, here's my license, swipe, yep, here's my reg card, swipe, yep, here's my proof of insurance, and then hopefully...
felony records. Sorry. Not my turn.
Yeah, I don't know how I even follow that one up.
And I actually think there was a bill introduced recently about the electronic.
About being able to show electronic proof of insurance, yeah. So we do that in our field offices now. You can come in, you have to show proof of insurance for your drive test, hold it up, show it on your phone, we'll go ahead and we'll accept that.
Very cool. Anything else you want to add?
Was it you? One more thing, just part of the future, thing here was about how to get ideas from people. Right now, we're just kicking around how we roll it out, but we're trying to roll out how we can do better at getting ideas from our external taxpayers. And the whole good ideas can come from anywhere concept. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to roll out something that can be given and collaborated on, so people see this and other people can say this, but this, and add to it and have it kind of mature that way. So we're not there yet, but that's something we recognize we really need to get better at.
That is very cool. Well, let me say thank you to all of you in attendance, and certainly a huge thank you to the panelists who have just been very good sports.